For centuries, people have been telling stories about creatures that lurk in the shadows, about monsters that whisper in the ocean, about winged demons, about creatures that can change their appearance. We are used to thinking, all this is fantasy, the fruit of fear of the unknown. But what if some of these legends are true? Get ready. Today we will meet 7 mythical creatures that could have actually existed. And some of them may still be around. And believe me, the 7th will surprise you so much that you will never look at myths the same way again. 1. The Minotaur, the monster of the labyrinth. The Minotaur is a creature with the body of a man and the head of a bull, imprisoned in a huge labyrinth. On Crete, among the endless fields and rocks, there once stood a great palace. Its corridors were so intricate that they seemed endless. And in this labyrinth, as people whispered, lived the Minotaur, half bull, half man. The myth of the Minotaur tells of King Minos, who, after offending the gods, was punished. His wife gave birth to a monster. To hide the shame, he built a giant labyrinth, designed by the legendary Daedalus. Legends say the Athenians sent young men to sacrifice to this monster every year, until the hero Theseus killed it. But the reality is more terrible. Archaeological finds in Knossos have shown that the palace really was like a labyrinth, huge, with many halls, crossroads, and dead ends. In Minoan culture, bulls were sacred animals associated with rituals. There are frescoes depicting people jumping over bulls. These could have been initiation rites. Perhaps the Minotaur is a symbol of ancient bloody rituals and human sacrifices. In the semi-darkness of ritual halls, masks and sounds could turn the ritual into something terrifying. Some believe that the spirit of the Minotaur still roams the labyrinths of Crete. And in the silence of old ruins, you can hear a dull mooing. 2. Harpies, spirits of the storm. Harpies are half women, half birds, messengers of disaster. Those who were taken away by Harpies disappeared forever. In Greek mythology, Harpies stole children, old people, and lost travelers, carrying them to the underworld, leaving behind the smell of rot and despair. In Argonautica, Harpies tormented the blind prophet Finney, taking away his food. Their wings carried the smell of death. Their cry foreshadowed a storm. But who was behind this image? Ancient sailors often saw huge vultures and condors over sinking ships. Their appearance in a storm coincided with the wreck, so it seemed that they foreshadowed death. The cry of a vulture, similar to a woman's screech, strengthened the belief in the existence of harpies. Birds, as symbols of sudden catastrophes, gradually merged with the idea of supernatural beings. Even today, in remote corners of the Mediterranean, old people say, if you see a strange shadow in the stormy sky, do not raise your head. Otherwise, the harpy will drag away your soul. 3. Tanuki, masters of deception. Deep in the forests of Japan, when the fog spreads along the ground, you can meet tanuki. But do not believe their cute appearance. These creatures deceive the mind. Tanuki are known for their ability to change shape, transform into people, objects, and even entire villages. They loved to create strange illusions and play tricks on those who entered their domain. Their main goal is to mislead people, to make them go astray. In folklore, tanuki loved to tease, play, but sometimes their games were deadly. Their symbols were sake bottles, magic leaves turned into money. Sometimes travelers found treasures that turned into ordinary leaves at dawn. In reality, tanuki are raccoon dogs, secretive nocturnal animals, often frightening people in the forests with their strange sounds. Tanuki became the personification of wild nature, its variability, cunning, and unpredictability. The Japanese raccoon dog can actually freeze, pretending to be a stone or a bush. Their nocturnal lifestyle and mysterious disappearances have given rise to legends about their supernatural abilities. They say that if you suddenly start hearing strange music in the forest at night, or see gold coins on the ground, do not touch them. This is a Tanuki trap. 4. Camazotz, the god of bats. Camazotz is the bat of death from Mayan and Quiche mythology. He was the god of the underworld, a creature that cut off the heads of his victims with one swipe of his claws. According to the Popol Vuh, Camazotz guarded the gates to Xibalba, the world of the dead. In Mayan legends, Camazotz is the embodiment of death, night, and sacrifice. He flies in the night and takes the living. According to myths, Camazotz participated in the battle for the underworld of Xibalba, killing heroes by piercing them with his wings. The caves where the rituals were held were filled with thousands of bats, creating a terrifying echo. But who is behind this myth? Fossils of giant bats confirm the existence of the Desmodus draculae species, blood-sucking monsters whose wings reached 1.5 meters. Such creatures could terrorize tribes, suddenly attacking in the night. They fed on blood, and ancient giant species could attack a sleeping person. The whisper of thousands of wings, drops of blood on leaves. All this turned into the image of a bloody deity. Even today, shamans of some tribes leave blood at the entrance to caves to appease Camazotz. Some hunters in the jungle still talk about shadows that pierce the darkness when you go too deep into forbidden lands. 5. Tengu, guardians of the secrets of the mountains. Tengu were creatures that lived in the mountain forests of Japan. Initially, they were considered the spirits of fallen monks and dead warriors. They had wings, beaks, or long noses and could kidnap people. Appearing in the fog, they punished pride, lies, and arrogance. Tengu are wind spirits, guardians of the mountains, protectors of ancient knowledge. But their mercy can turn into terrible punishment. Tengu could teach martial arts masters or cruelly punish for pride. Their image varied, from evil monsters to almost holy creatures. In reality, Tengu are Yamabushi monks. They led an ascetic lifestyle, studied martial arts, and could move along difficult mountain paths unnoticed by ordinary people. Dressed in strange clothes, with masks and sticks, they seemed like supernatural beings. They had knowledge of medicine and martial arts. Their rituals and mysterious appearances on the peaks gave rise to legends about supernatural spirits. Some people still leave offerings along mountain paths to avoid angering the Tengu, the guardians of ancient secrets. 6. Pixies, spirits of ancient forests. Pixies are small spirits from English and Celtic legends, creatures of forests and hills. They were known for their tricks. They led travelers into the thicket, confused roads, laughed in the bushes. Sometimes it was believed that pixies were the souls of dead children who were not accepted into the other world. Particularly dangerous were pixie leads, glowing balls that lured travelers into swamps. In Old England, travelers were afraid of getting lost in the forests, because pixies could lure them into the wilds forever. The scientific explanation for the glowing balls is that they are swamp gas that can spontaneously ignite, creating strange lights. But in ancient times, such phenomena were perceived as signs of a supernatural presence. Also, the Picts, an ancient people of Britain, may have become the basis for these legends. Their night raids, war paint, and life in the forests made them look like magic people. If you hear laughter in the forest, turn away and go back. Otherwise, you will become part of their games forever. 7. Julia Fish Monster, a mystery of the deep. Julia is a huge sea monster, reminiscent of a whale, but whose size is much larger. In 1999, ocean microphones recorded a strange sound, nicknamed Julia. It was so powerful that it was recorded at several NASA stations at once. The sound lasted for almost 2 minutes. The signal received by scientists could not be explained. A number of anomalies, including characteristic live frequency oscillations, led scientists to think about some kind of giant creature. For centuries, sailors talked about monsters living in the abyss, krakens, snakes, monsters that raised entire waves. Julia became a modern version of these ancient fears. The official version was an iceberg rubbing against the seabed. Biologists and acousticians have not yet come to a consensus. Although the official version was the destruction of an iceberg, many scientists noted the acoustic structure of the sound resembles a biological source. Some are sure creatures live in the abyss, the size of which we cannot even imagine. And sometimes they make themselves known. The world is full of secrets, and behind every legend there may be a truth, more frightening than the wildest fantasies. And maybe some of these creatures are still watching us from the shadows. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, sometimes reality is stranger than myth. Subscribe and like if you were surprised by at least one creature in this video. It motivates me to make even more content for you.